So OpenAI just dropped its new flagship model, GPT-5.5, and they did it right in the middle of a massive feature dump from Anthropic. You know, it's got every developer asking the same question. Is this new model actually good enough to switch back from the current coding champ Claude Opus 4.7? Well, today, we're going to break it all down.
And look, if you're an engineering lead, this is more than just about cool new tech. This is a budget question, plain and simple. GPT 5.5 costs more. It's basically double its predecessor. So the real question for you is this a critical upgrade that's going to supercharge your team's productivity, or is it just an expensive line item you can probably skip? We're going to give you the data so you can make that call yourself. We'll look at the contenders, we'll put them head-to-head in a code showdown, we'll analyze the economics, dig into this new autonomy factor, and then wrap it all up with a playbook for your team.
Okay, first up, the code showdown. We're moving past all the marketing fluff and the benchmarks. We want to see real-world performance. How do these two models actually handle concrete coding challenges? You know, everything from generating a simple UI to building a fully interactive game.
First test, something pretty straightforward. Build a web page from a design prompt. And the results? Well, they were pretty clear. Claude Opus 4.7 absolutely nailed it. It delivered a polished, cohesive design in a single shot. It just worked.
GPT 5.5, on the other hand, was honestly kind of disappointing. Its output was missing the entire hero section. The chart it tried to render was completely broken, and the UI elements just felt sloppy. The quality really felt like a step back. More like an older version of Claude, not a brand new flagship. So yeah, when it comes to pixel-perfect UI, Claude is still the one to beat.
But then, we completely flipped the script. We went from a static design to something way more complex and interactive, a 3D space shooter game. And this is where GPT 5.5 just completely turned the tables. Claude's version, it was technically functional, but it was clunky, it was buggy, and honestly, it was pretty much unplayable.
And the difference wasn't just in the code, it was in the feel of it. GPT 5.5 gave us what felt like a real game. The physics were smooth, the controls were responsive, it had a working UI with a crosshair, a score counter, an energy bar, the whole shebang. Claude's version? The camera was locked, you couldn't even look up to shoot the targets. This wasn't a small difference, it was a completely different league of output.
So, performance is a mixed bag. But as a manager, it's not just about what these models can build, but how they build it. And that brings us to the economics of it all. The speed, the resource consumption, and of course, the final number on your API bill.
To really figure this out, we're going to look at the data from a bunch of experiments, pitting these two models against each other on different coding projects. So let's see what the numbers actually tell us about how efficient they are.
In this table right here, this illustrates the core economic difference. Just focus on that personal site task. GPT 5.5 finished it in 4 minutes for about $1. Opus 4.7 took 14 minutes and cost $5. Now look down at the 3D shooter, half the time and cheaper again. You start to see a very clear trend here, very quickly.
Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. When you add up the total runtime across all 4 of these experiments, the difference is just stark. GPT 5.5 got the work done in about 21 minutes. Claude Opus 4.7, almost 41 minutes. We're talking nearly double the time. For your team, that translates directly into a massive productivity boost.
But this is the number that really matters for your budget. See, output tokens are the most expensive part of any API call. And across those same 4 tasks, GPT 5.5 used only about 70,000 output tokens. Claude Opus 4.7 used 250,000. That is just a staggering difference in efficiency.
So, the key takeaway is this single number. GPT 5.5 is getting similar, and in some cases even better, results using roughly 75% fewer output tokens. This is the heart of OpenAI's whole more with less strategy. It's not just about being smarter, it's about being leaner, more efficient. And this brings you to a really clear strategic trade-off. Claude Opus 4.7 gives you that massive 1 million token context window, which is incredible for reasoning over huge code bases and, keeping that architectural integrity. GPT 5.5 has a smaller window at 400K tokens, and its output tokens are technically more expensive. But, and this is the big but, because it uses so few of them, the total project cost can actually end up being way, way lower.
This efficiency unlocks something much bigger.
We're moving beyond just talking about simple code copilots. The whole conversation is shifting now to agentic autonomy and how that completely changes your team's workflow. This quote just captures that shift perfectly. This isn't just about getting code snippets a little bit faster. This is about handing off entire projects to an AI agent and having it come back with a finished product. So what even is agentic autonomy? Well, it's the model's ability to take a really vague goal, break it down into steps, make its own decisions along the way, and handle complex tasks without you needing to babysit it. It's the shift from a tool that answers your questions to a partner that actually accomplishes your goals.
And this isn't just a theory. Take a look at this real-world example. Someone gave GPT-5.5 a single-sentence brief for a Mac app. And overnight, working completely on its own for 9 hours, it authenticated 4 different APIs, it drove a web browser to figure out complex logins, it built a full UI with a live data dashboard, and it even integrated an AI analytics layer. This is a level of autonomous power that we just haven't seen before.
So what does all of this mean for you and your team? Well, it's time for the playbook. It's not about choosing one model and sticking with it forever. It's about deploying the right tool for the right job so you can maximize productivity and keep your budget in check.
So here's your cheat sheet. You're going to want to use GPT 5.5 for those complex, multi-step projects where its autonomy and token efficiency can really shine, things like building interactive games. But you should stick with Claude Opus 4.7 for tasks that absolutely need its massive context window, for resolving known GitHub issues, or, like we saw, when you need that pixel-perfect UI on the very first try.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? This isn't just about a new tool anymore. It's about a new type of team member. Your AI copilot is rapidly becoming an autonomous agent. So the real challenge for you as a leader isn't just about which API you're going to call. It's about how you're going to restructure your team, your projects, and your entire workflow to actually leverage that incredible new power.